Top 10 Poorest States in America. How Black communities are struggling to survive. Poverty in America isn't just a statistic, it's a harsh reality that millions wake up to every single day. And while some places manage to climb out of the struggle, others seem permanently stuck in a cycle of economic struggles that just won't let go. What's really holding these communities back? And why are Black communities in these states facing the brunt of it? The poverty rates in these areas aren't just high, they're staggering. And let's be real, when entire struggling communities are forced to choose between rent, food, or medical care, that's not just an economic problem, it's a crisis. The real kicker? The economic disparities in these regions aren't new. They've been brewing for decades, fueled by limited opportunities, lack of investment, and policies that keep some people in the game while leaving others behind. So, which states make the list of the top 10 poorest states in America? And what does this mean for the Black communities trying to survive in them? Stick around, because some of these answers might just shock you. Subscribe now to Virtual Travel by Brian for more eye-opening content. Let's dive in. Number 10. Tennessee. Nestled in the heart of the American South, Tennessee often conjures images of vibrant music scenes and rolling hills. However, beneath this picturesque facade lies a reality that's far less harmonious. With a median household income of $67,097 as of 2024, Tennessee finds itself grappling with significant economic challenges, particularly within its Black communities. Tennessee's population stands at approximately 7 million residents. Of this number, 17.1% identify as Black or African American. This demographic plays a pivotal role in the state's cultural and economic fabric, yet they face disproportionate hardships. The state's overall poverty rate hovers around 14%. However, when delving deeper, the disparities become glaringly evident. In Memphis, a city with a substantial Black population, the poverty rate for Black residents is a staggering 24.7%. This means nearly 1 in 4 Black individuals in Memphis lives below the poverty line. A statistic that should prompt serious reflection. While Tennessee's unemployment rate has seen declines, dropping from 8.0% in 2012 to 3.6% in 2024, these figures don't paint the full picture. Black communities often face higher unemployment rates and underemployment, leading to economic instability and limited upward mobility. On the surface, Tennessee boasts a relatively low cost of living. However, this advantage is overshadowed by the fact that more than 1/3 of Tennessee households struggle to cover basic needs. For Black families, this financial strain is even more pronounced, exacerbated by systemic barriers and historical inequities. Limited access to quality healthcare and education further compounds these challenges. Black communities in Tennessee often find themselves in healthcare deserts, with inadequate medical facilities and providers. Educational disparities, driven by underfunded schools and resource gaps, hinder the academic and professional prospects of Black youth. Tennessee's rich cultural heritage and contributions are undeniable. Yet, it's imperative to acknowledge and address the systemic issues that disproportionately affect its Black residents. By shedding light on these disparities, we can foster informed discussions and advocate for equitable policies that ensure all Tennesseans have the opportunity to thrive. Number 9. South Carolina. South Carolina, known for its charming coastal cities and rich history, presents a picturesque image to the world. Yet, beneath this facade lies a reality marked by economic disparities, particularly within its Black communities. With a median household income of $59,318 in 2024, the state grapples with significant challenges that often go unnoticed. Home to approximately 5.4 million residents, South Carolina's population is diverse, with Black or African American individuals comprising about 26% of the populace. This substantial demographic plays a pivotal role in the state's cultural and economic landscape. The state's overall poverty rate stands at 15.4%, surpassing the national average. However, this statistic doesn't fully capture the depth of economic inequality. Black communities often face higher poverty rates, a legacy of systemic barriers and historical injustices. While South Carolina has experienced economic growth, the benefits haven't been evenly distributed. Black residents frequently encounter higher unemployment rates and limited access to quality job opportunities. This disparity is exacerbated by factors such as occupational segregation and discrimination. Despite a relatively moderate cost of living, many Black families in South Carolina struggle with financial instability. Issues like housing affordability and access to financial services remain pressing concerns. Educational attainment and healthcare access are critical determinants of economic mobility. Unfortunately, Black communities in South Carolina often face disparities in these areas, hindering their ability to achieve financial stability and improve quality of life. Addressing these challenges requires a comprehensive approach that acknowledges historical injustices and implements policies promoting equity. Number 8. Alabama. Alabama, the land of sweet tea, Southern hospitality, and staggering economic disparities. With a median household income of $62,027 in 2024, one might wonder, is the heart of Dixie experiencing cardiac arrest? Let's dive into the numbers. Alabama is home to approximately 5.1 million residents, with Black or African American individuals comprising about 26.6% of the population. That's over a quarter of the state, yet the economic scales are far from balanced. The state's overall poverty rate stands at 15.6%. But here's where it gets interesting, or rather disheartening. Black or African Americans make up 26.8% of the state's population, but account for over 42% of those below the poverty level. It's as if the economic ladder is missing a few rungs for certain communities. While Alabama's unemployment rate has seen declines, dropping from 8.3% in 2012 to 3.3% in 2024, these figures don't paint the full picture. Black communities often face higher unemployment rates and underemployment, leading to economic instability and limited upward mobility. On the surface, Alabama boasts a relatively low cost of living. However, this advantage is overshadowed by the fact that more than one-third of Alabama households struggle to cover basic needs. For Black families, this financial strain is even more pronounced, exacerbated by systemic barriers and historical inequities. Limited access to quality healthcare and education further compounds these challenges. Black communities in Alabama often find themselves in healthcare deserts, with inadequate medical facilities and providers. Educational disparities, driven by underfunded schools and resource gaps, hinder the academic and professional prospects of Black youth. Alabama's rich cultural heritage and contributions are undeniable. Yet, it's imperative to acknowledge and address the systemic issues that disproportionately affect its Black residents. Number 7. Oklahoma. Oklahoma, the Sooner State, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain, and apparently so do economic disparities. With a median household income of $55,826 in 2024, one might think things are looking up. But let's dig a little deeper, shall we? Home to approximately 4 million people, Oklahoma boasts a rich tapestry of cultures. Black or African American residents make up about 7.8% of the population. But don't let the small percentage fool you. Their contributions are as significant as the challenges they face. The state's overall poverty rate stands at 15.9%. However, in North Tulsa, a predominantly Black area, the poverty rate soars to over 35%, compared to 17% in the rest of the city. It's as if there's an invisible barrier keeping prosperity at bay. While Oklahoma's overall unemployment rate is a low 3.3%, the Black unemployment rate is more than double that of their white counterparts. It's like being invited to a party, but told to stand outside. Oklahoma prides itself on having one of the lowest costs of living in the nation, about 12% lower than the national average. But when income inequality persists, even low living costs can't bridge the gap. Limited access to quality healthcare and education further compounds these challenges. Black communities in Oklahoma often find themselves in healthcare deserts, with inadequate medical facilities and providers. Educational disparities, driven by underfunded schools and resource gaps, hinder the academic and professional prospects of Black youth. Oklahoma's rich cultural heritage and contributions are undeniable. Yet, it's imperative to acknowledge and address the systemic issues that disproportionately affect its Black residents. Number 6. Kentucky. Kentucky, a state renowned for its bluegrass music, horse racing, and bourbon. But beneath the rolling hills and spirited traditions lies a less harmonious tune: economic disparity, especially within its black communities. Home to approximately 4.5 million residents, Kentucky's demographic composition includes a black or African American population of about 8.5%. While this percentage may seem modest, the challenges faced by these communities are anything but. Kentucky's overall poverty rate stands at 16.4%, surpassing the national average. However, the situation is more dire within black communities, where poverty rates are significantly higher. It's as if the economic ladder is missing a few rungs for some, making the climb out of poverty particularly arduous. The state's unemployment rate hit a record low of 5.2% in December 2024. Yet, this statistic doesn't reflect the whole picture. Black Kentuckians have historically faced higher unemployment rates compared to their white counterparts. This disparity suggests systemic barriers that continue to hinder equal access to employment opportunities. Kentucky boasts a cost of living approximately 11% lower than the national average, which might seem like a silver lining. However, when incomes are substantially lower, even reduced living costs can't bridge the economic divide. Many black families face financial strains, struggling to cover basic needs despite the ostensibly affordable living conditions. Access to quality healthcare and education remains a significant concern. Black Kentuckians experience higher rates of adverse health outcomes and face challenges in accessing quality healthcare services. Educational disparities also persist, with systemic issues limiting opportunities for academic and professional advancement. By acknowledging these disparities, we can foster informed discussions and advocate for equitable policies that ensure all Kentuckians have the opportunity to thrive. All right, let's hit pause for a second. If you're finding this eye-opening so far, do me a favor. Hit that like button so more people can see just how deep these economic struggles run. And while you're at it, drop a comment below. What do you think is the biggest factor holding back black communities in these states? Lack of jobs, education, systemic barriers? Let's talk about it. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to Virtual Travel by Brian yet, what are you waiting for? We dive into these real, unfiltered conversations about places most people don't talk about. So hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, let's get back to it. Number 5. West Virginia. West Virginia, often dubbed Almost Heaven, paints a picturesque image of rolling hills and tranquil landscapes. But for many black residents, the reality is far from heavenly. With a median household income of $54,000 in 2024, the state grapples with economic challenges that hit black communities particularly hard. Home to approximately 1.77 million people, West Virginia's black population stands at about 3.7%. While this percentage may seem modest, the struggles faced by these communities are profoundly significant. The state's overall poverty rate is 16.7%, higher than the national average. However, black people in West Virginia face an alarming poverty rate of 33.4%, more than double that of white people. It's as if the economic ladder is missing a few rungs for some, making the climb out of poverty particularly arduous. While West Virginia's unemployment rate has seen declines, black residents face unemployment rates more than 2.5 percentage points higher than their white counterparts. This disparity suggests systemic barriers that continue to hinder equal access to employment opportunities. Black communities in Appalachia, including West Virginia, disproportionately suffer from environmental hazards due to resource extraction industries. Activists like Marsha Dinkins are leading efforts to address these injustices, empowering black voices to advocate for healthier living conditions. West Virginia's rich cultural heritage is undeniable, yet it's imperative to address the systemic issues disproportionately affecting its black residents. Number 4. Arkansas. Arkansas, affectionately known as the natural state, boasts lush landscapes and a rich cultural heritage. However, beneath its scenic beauty lies a stark economic reality, especially for its black communities. With a median household income of $58,773 in 2024, Arkansas ranks 4th among the top 10 poorest states in America. But what does this mean for its black residents? Home to approximately 3.1 million people, Arkansas's population includes about 15.7% Black or African American residents. Despite being a significant part of the state's demographic fabric, these communities often face systemic challenges that hinder economic prosperity. The overall poverty rate in Arkansas stands at 16.22%, higher than the national average. However, the disparities become more pronounced when examining child poverty rates. 39% of Black children live in poverty, compared to 16% of white children. This gap highlights the enduring impact of systemic inequities on Black families. While specific unemployment rates for Black Arkansans are not readily available, national trends indicate that Black workers often face higher unemployment rates compared to their white counterparts. This disparity suggests that Black residents in Arkansas may encounter similar challenges in securing stable employment. Educational and healthcare disparities further exacerbate economic challenges. Black families in Arkansas are more likely to earn incomes below the poverty line, face higher levels of underemployment and unemployment, and have fewer financial resources than their white counterparts. These inequities can lead to significant educational gaps and worse health outcomes, perpetuating cycles of poverty. Homeownership remains a critical avenue for wealth accumulation. However, Black residents face significant barriers to becoming homeowners due to the lasting effects of segregation laws on generating personal wealth. This disparity hampers the ability of Black families to build and transfer wealth across generations. Despite these challenges, stories of resilience and innovation emerge. For instance, the Williams family in Helena, Arkansas, transformed their farming legacy into Delta Dirt Distillery, producing award-winning spirits from sweet potatoes grown on their land. This entrepreneurial endeavor not only honors their heritage, but also contributes to local economic revitalization. Arkansas's moniker as the land of opportunity rings hollow for many Black residents facing systemic economic challenges. Addressing these disparities requires concerted efforts to promote equitable access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. Only then can Arkansas truly embody its nickname for all its citizens. Number 3. New Mexico. New Mexico, fondly known as the Land of Enchantment, captivates with its vast deserts, rich Native American heritage, and vibrant art scene. However, beneath this picturesque facade lies a perplexing economic landscape that challenges many of its residents, including its Black communities. Home to approximately 2.1 million people, New Mexico boasts a diverse cultural tapestry. Hispanics or Latinos make up nearly half of the population, while Native Americans account for about 11%. Black or African American residents constitute a smaller segment, approximately 2.6% of the population. The state's overall poverty rate stands at 18.4%, significantly higher than the national average of 11.6%. This means nearly 1 in 5 New Mexicans live below the poverty line. Child poverty is even more alarming, with 1 in 4 children affected. While specific data on poverty rates within Black communities in New Mexico is limited, it's evident that economic challenges permeate across various demographics. In 2024, New Mexico's median household income was $53,992, trailing behind the national median. This disparity underscores the financial hurdles many residents face, making it challenging to achieve economic stability. The state's unemployment rate has shown fluctuations over the years. While exact figures for 2024 are pending, historical data indicates that New Mexico often grapples with higher unemployment rates compared to national averages. This trend suggests limited job opportunities, which can exacerbate poverty levels. On the brighter side, New Mexico enjoys a relatively low cost of living, approximately 8% below the national average. This affordability stems from lower housing costs and utility expenses, offering some respite to residents. However, when juxtaposed with the state's lower median income, the economic challenges remain pronounced. Educational attainment in New Mexico lags behind national figures, with only 28.5% of residents holding a bachelor's degree or higher, compared to the U.S. average of 33.7%. Additionally, 12% of New Mexicans lack health insurance, surpassing the national rate of 9.8%. These disparities highlight systemic issues that can perpetuate cycles of poverty. While New Mexico enchants with its cultural richness and natural beauty, it simultaneously confronts significant economic challenges. Addressing these issues requires targeted policies and community initiatives to uplift all residents, ensuring that the state's enchantment extends beyond its landscapes to the livelihoods of its people. Number 2. Louisiana. Louisiana grapples with significant economic challenges, especially within its Black communities. In 2024, Louisiana's median household income stood at $60,023, placing it among the lowest in the nation. Even more alarming, approximately 18.9% of residents live below the poverty line. This means nearly 1 in 5 Louisianans struggles to make ends meet, a statistic that's hard to jazz up. The state's rich cultural tapestry is woven with threads of history, particularly in regions like the Great River Road and Wallace. This 11-mile stretch, dotted with historic plantations and deep-rooted Afro-Creole traditions, was on the cusp of receiving National Historic Landmark status. However, in a controversial move, the National Park Service withdrew its consideration, bowing to state officials who favored industrial development over preservation. It's a classic case of choosing dollars over heritage, leaving many to wonder, can't we have both? Louisiana is home to approximately 4.6 million people, with Black or African American residents comprising about 32.8% of the population. Despite their significant presence, Black communities often face systemic barriers that perpetuate cycles of poverty. For instance, a staggering 37.7% of working families live below 200% of the poverty line, highlighting the widespread nature of financial insecurity. While Louisiana boasts a relatively low cost of living, this advantage is overshadowed by the state's economic struggles. The unemployment rate hovers around 4.5%, but this figure doesn't capture the underemployment and job instability that many, especially within Black communities, experience. It's like having a potluck where everyone brings napkins. Technically, you're contributing, but it's not quite enough to satisfy hunger. Despite these hurdles, local communities are rallying to preserve their heritage and improve living conditions. Grassroots organizations in St. John the Baptist Parish, for example, are striving to protect historic sites from industrial encroachment, emphasizing that cultural preservation can coexist with economic progress. Their efforts underscore a critical question: why should communities have to choose between honoring their past and securing their future? Louisiana's allure is undeniable, with its rich traditions and cultural vibrancy. However, to ensure that all residents can partake in its prosperity, especially Black communities disproportionately affected by economic disparities, a balanced approach that values both development and heritage is essential. After all, a gumbo missing key ingredients just isn't as flavorful. Number 1. Mississippi. Mississippi, often celebrated for its rich cultural heritage and Southern charm, holds a less enviable title: the poorest state in America. With a median household income of $48,706 as of 2024, it lags behind the national average. This economic struggle is particularly pronounced within its Black communities, who face systemic challenges that perpetuate poverty. Home to approximately 2.9 million residents, Mississippi's population is about 38% Black, making it the state with the highest percentage of Black residents in the U.S. Despite this significant demographic, Black Mississippians often encounter disparities in income, employment, and access to essential services. The state's overall poverty rate stands at 18%, nearly double the national average. This statistic underscores the widespread economic hardship that affects many Mississippians, particularly within Black communities. In 2022, Jackson, Mississippi's capital, and a city with an 82% Black population, faced a catastrophic water crisis. Decades of systemic racism and underinvestment culminated in the failure of the city's water infrastructure, leaving residents without safe drinking water for weeks. This crisis not only highlighted the infrastructural neglect, but also the environmental racism prevalent in the region. While Mississippi boasts a relatively low cost of living, this advantage is offset by limited economic opportunities. The state's unemployment rate has fluctuated around 4.5%, but this figure doesn't fully capture the underemployment and job instability that many residents, especially in Black communities, experience. Access to quality healthcare and education remains a significant challenge. Black residents often face higher rates of chronic illnesses and have less access to medical services. Educational attainment is also lower among Black Mississippians, perpetuating cycles of poverty and limiting economic mobility. Mississippi's economic challenges are deeply rooted in historical and systemic inequities. Addressing these issues requires comprehensive policies focused on infrastructure investment, equitable healthcare, and education reforms that prioritize the needs of its Black communities. Only through such targeted efforts can the Magnolia State hope to shed its status as the nation's poorest state and ensure prosperity for all its residents. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the economic landscapes of America's poorest states and the challenges faced by Black communities within them. If you found this exploration insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analyses.